Your table's falling apart over there.
Table?
Yeah, it's all warping on the edge there.
Wow.
Gotta be Jerry's fault.
Soak my laptop in water.
Oh, that's fun.
I had to soak my
Greg?
laptop in water.
How's the
Greg,
puppy? How's the puppy doing?
Can you pull up Facebook and make sure that that
He's
podium
good.
is on actual
Do you like
Facebook
the
feed?
snow?
On the Facebook feed.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Yeah,
streaming
Cavaliers
live right
tend to
now.
love the
We can
snow.
permit.
Yeah.
Amber, are you
Yeah.
satisfied with that?
Just so any citizen gets up and speaks is recorded
Well, my
and
Havanese,
broadcast.
all four of
Yeah,
them
right
go
now it's
out, and the
streaming. They can
Havanese
go
is
to
back like that.
ferrysburg.org,
She's like,
go to
nope,
city council
don't want
stream.
it.
But the podium, or the,
they roll in at least.
Oh, yeah, the podium right now is on
with their
screen.
nose. And
thank you.
You're welcome.
Good idea, Mike.
Have to erase those magic marker marks. Square on. Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to clean the floor.
Is everybody ready? It is 7 o'clock and time to call the Ferrisburg City Council meeting to order for Monday, February 17th, 2025. Amber, could you call roll, please?
Councilmember Montgomery.
Here.
Councilmember Sias. Councilmember Murdoch.
Here.
Councilmember Kate.
Here.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Here.
Councilmember Sturley.
Here.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
I'd make, we excuse, Councilman Sias. Support.
Motion and support on the floor.
Okay.
Call roll, please.
Councilmember Sturley.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Next is our invocation by Pastor Nate Visker, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If all could stand.
Thank you. Good to be with you again. It's an honor to be able to open the meeting in prayer, so let's do that. Lord, we thank you that you're a God whose providence extends to every part of this world, that you're there in the most insignificant or seemingly so of things. You're there in the most important things. Nothing is too complicated or too mundane for you. And so we certainly claim your presence here tonight as the councilman and the mayor take up important business for the city of Ferrisburg. We ask that you would help them to deliberate with the discernment and the wisdom that comes from you. We pray that you will give them ears to listen to each other and to their constituents, and that through this time tonight, that they would make decisions that further the well-being of people in the city of Ferrisburg and make Ferrisburg the best city that it can possibly be. So thank you for your presence here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor Nate. Appreciate you coming out in this ugly weather. Now is the time for public comments. This time on the agenda is for any citizens to direct brief comments or questions to the city council. Time for public comment will be given when the agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, citizens who wish to make public comment on agenda items are asked to stand against the wall by the podium to ensure visibility to be recognized. And after being recognized by the mayor, please give your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment? Yes, we do.
Regina Shelberg, 17542 Parkwood Drive. I'd like to speak tonight about the work session item, actually, because I thought maybe you could take some of my concerns when you discuss it, so I wanted to talk about that now. If you establish an economic development board, you're going to need to legally identify all the incorporation strictures that any other board has per our charter. I researched this and I asked Craig also if you could just turn the Brownfield into an economic development task force board and an economic development board, and the answer is no. The articles of incorporation would have to be amended. You can't just wave a magic wand and change the Brownfield into an economic development board. You'd have to decide, for example, how many members could serve on the board and for what length of time. What's the procedure for removing a board member? Most importantly, what would be the requirements for service? Would you let business owners who don't live in the city serve on the board? Would you let maybe even business owners from outside the city serve on the board if they wanted to conduct business in Ferrisburg? You'd have to outline all of that. You'd need to open the entire application process and approval process to be completed in order to be ethical and fair. You can't just make all Brownfield members instant economic development board members. Because that would be unfair to people who might have the ability and the desire to serve. In my opinion, this is just all unnecessary. An ad hoc economic development task force, which has been sunset, identified certain concerns that were assigned to either the PC or the council. Appropriate government entities would supposed to work on those items. We also have the Chamber of Commerce, and their website says they are the Center of Economic Development Services and Programs for Northwest Ottawa County, end quote. I believe that the job of working with businesses is one that should be addressed by council. Council is responsible to the people and to the city. I believe free enterprise should drive business, but you do have the ability, with the support and input of the PC and maybe even the ZBA, to do things such as guide infrastructure, provide amenities, have land use permissions, that kind of thing. This must always be done under consideration of what is good for the people of the city. That's what you were elected to do. To keep in mind the results of our recent survey, which was just approved, here are the priorities according to the survey. Promote and preserve green spaces in the city, maintain Ferrisburg's small-town character, and improve waterfront accessibility, end quote. We don't really need another level of bureaucracy in the city. We don't need to make this issue yet another political football. You're supposed to serve on boards because you want to serve the city. Add that to the fact that we have a lot of trouble getting people to even serve on boards. So I think the way that what you should focus on is trying to get new faces involved in city government, and that will keep us going. That's what's going to make Ferrisburg a good place to live.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Let's move on to number 6, consideration for approval of the consent agenda. 6A, approve the February 3rd City Council minutes as printed. 6B, approve the city memo, the bills memo in the amount of $68,160.34. C, adopt the 2025 City Council goals. 6D, discussion and take action appropriate to approve a recommendation from the Harbor Transit Multimodal Transportation System, HTMMTS Board, to approve the 25-26 millage rate at 0.6 mils. 6E, approve a recommendation from the Kitchell-Lindquist-Hartford Dunes Preserve Board to approve a proposal from the William Marius and Associates for $4,000 to conduct the natural features inventory at the KLH Dunes Preserve Board, or Preserve. I would certainly entertain a motion for this.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Support. Okay. Any discussion from anyone?
Please.
Okay.
Craig, the Harbor Transit millage rate is 0.600 mils. That's been consistent over the past, how many years?
About 5 years.
Okay, so it's not an increase?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from anyone? Seeing none, Amber, would you call roll, please?
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Councilmember Sterling.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good. Moving on to new business, agenda item 7A. Discussion and to take action to approve a bench donation from Bradley and Mindy Malewski, hope I'm pronouncing that properly, to be placed at the intersection of 168th Avenue and Bridle Path. Do we have any public comments on this agenda item? Seeing none?
Motion to approve.
Very good.
Support.
Motion and support. Craig, could you fill us in on this a little bit?
Yes, we have received a generous donation for a bench to be put at the intersection of Bridle Path and 168th Avenue. It would be right near the intersection there, behind the bike path. It'd be in city right away. The Recreation Commission has reviewed this and made a recommendation to make the approval for City Council.
William, do you have anything to add from Rec?
Yeah, we did check the landowner or the owner that's right there adjacent, right? And they're comfortable with it being in their front right of way there.
Correct, as the donor did.
Okay. And so we chose a bench that matches the other benches we're putting around the city, like Berry Park, and so we'll have a consistent appearance around the city. And then we factored in a little extra to cover for any maintenance costs that will come up. Right, Craig?
Correct.
Does this have a memorial plaque or something on it, Craig?
Yes, there will be a plaque on it.
Anyone else have anything?
Your Honor?
Yeah.
I had a concern from a citizen that we were placing it in Spring Lake Township. So I had Craig pull up the plat map on the way in. It is in the Ferrisburgh city property right away. So just so that alleviates citizens' concern.
Thank you for addressing that.
And this bench will be installed after the street project is over.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Seeing none, Amber, would you call roll, please?
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Councilmember Sturley.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Moving on to 7B, introduction of ordinance number 334, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending chapter 154 zoning to amend section 9.120, subsection D, to permit accessory building and uses in the L1-3 zone district. Craig, you want to fill us in on this?
Yes, we received a call that want to know what the regulations were for putting a shed up or accessory building in the LI3 zone district. When reviewing the book, we didn't see that was a permitted use. And talking to Dave Joseph from Horizon Planning, we think this was an unintended omission from the zoning ordinance. So we, Planning Commission had held a public hearing to allow sheds in the LI3 zone district. There was no public comments, and the Planning Commission made a recommendation for City Council to adopt this ordinance.
Your Honor?
Yes.
As the council rep on the zoning board, I reviewed this and there's absolutely no objection to it.
Okay. Could I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion
I
to
think it's
approve it.
just introduction, right?
Right, this is the first reading.
This is first reading? Okay, very good. Any other comments at all from City Council? No? Seeing none, we'll move forward. 7C, discussion and take action appropriate to approve a bid from Site Work Solutions for $388,585.25 for repairs to the Tri-City Connector Path.
The connector path is a joint project between the village of Spring Lake, City of Grand Haven, and City of Ferrisburgh. Over the years, some maintenance projects have been done on the project, and the cost has been split per maintenance agreement between the three communities, where part of it is straight costs and the other is based on population. The path is in need of some repairs. There's some rusty fences, the cracks in the bike path, some gaps that need to be filled. And so what the plan is to remove all the asphalt and replace it. There'll be concrete on the Ferrisburgh side, asphalt on the City of Grand Haven side. All three communities have looked at the bid. I've walked the project with the engineer and made a recommendation to approve this bid from Site Work Solutions. City of Grand Haven and the Village of Spring Lake have indicated in writing that they'll be responsible for their share of the cost. The city will be the lead community on this project. We're accepting the bid. We will bill the other communities for their costs as they get incurred. We've been doing that with the engineering. The city's been paying the engineering and billing the other communities for their portion of that.
So this dollar amount is the full amount of the whole total project, correct?
Correct.
What's the percentage for Ferrisburg?
About 25%. Our
Okay.
cost would be about $123,000, which includes the engineering. This project would begin in the fall after the summer.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Yes,
Motion on the
Okay.
floor.
there's no motion yet.
Oh, very good.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Siteworks Solutions for $388,585.25 for repairs to the Tri-Cities Connector Pad.
Support. I'm a little confused by the figures on the letter that we got from Mr. Aaron's. It says the alternate low bid from Siteworks Solutions, 388,585.25, and then it lists three more categories: design, engineering, construction inspection, project contingencies, total estimated budget $480,000. But we're only approving 388,585.25. Help me understand the difference.
The engineering's already been approved. The design engineering just about all paid for. The construction engineering, that will be billed.
All right, thank you.
Greg, what is
I know what you said.
the low bid versus the base bid?
That's on page 102 of the engineer's estimate.
That's on the letter to Matt. It's a letter to Matt, dated February 5.
Oh, okay. 355, 500,000 was for, the estimate, we're doing asphalt on both sides of the path. And the 399, 500 was the estimate for doing concrete on the Ferrisburg Village Spring Lake side. It came in at 388.
So, okay, so Matt wants to go with the alternate bid because of that?
Correct. All three communities do.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none. Amber?
Councilmember Sterling.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good. Moving on to 7D, the work session for the Economic Development Board.
So Craig, based on your email, I'm assuming we're good with the past board. It's been dissolved.
That's our understanding, yes.
We haven't got any confirmation though.
No, and I can't find anything in the city records for anything from the state that's been dissolved earlier, so
But it's not listed anymore, so.
that's correct.
Was it listed before?
I didn't look before. I don't know.
So we have confirmation from the state of dissolution?
We don't have confirmation. The state has looked and they do not find any record of the Economic Development Corporation.
So my guess is that maybe they're dissolved or they never recognized it in the first place. But regardless, they're not recognized.
Okay.
So we have the green light to move forward with what business.
Okay.
that we-
Well, personally, I'm not opposed to economic development, but it seems redundant to, I think the majority of our economic development so far has all come from the chamber, correct?
Right, we have an economic development contract with the chamber. And so there's an economic development person that was spearheading that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Butler, she's no longer with the chamber. City of Grand Haven's indicated that they will not contract with the Chamber for Economic Services after, where they put their notice in, they're done with the contract
How much more of the contract do we have?
through September.
Are we getting money back from them because we
No,
haven't
they're-
used it?
The other three communities are still participating. The other four, Village, Spring Lake Township, Grand Haven Township, and Ferrisburg are going to continue. We paid our portion of the,
Right, but what are we getting if they haven't backfilled that employee?
so the chamber will still help us with economic development if we need it. And they're partnered with Lakeshore Advantage also if we need a different kind of assistance.
I just feel like we have a different service than we had before, where they had a dedicated employee that was actively seeking economic development in our community, and now it's more passive. If you have a question, we'll answer it.
That's correct. And so we're working with the chamber to see how that's going to work out after September. All the communities are trying to figure this out. If they're going to hire somebody, or we're going to go a different path.
But we continue paying through September for a service we're not getting.
We pay for our third share, third year of the contract, correct?
So can we ask the chamber what they're doing about that?
Their chamber is deciding whether to hire a person, or the communities are working whether they want to contract maybe with the city of Grand Haven or hire someone themselves. We just don't know the answer to that yet.
So that's what I was gonna ask. They've not committed to replacing Ms. Butler yet?
No, because they don't know what is going to happen after September.
With the city of Grand Haven
City of Grand Haven's out,
is out.
and they were a major portion payer of this contract.
Yeah.
So the five communities that contract basically paid for that person. The city of Grand Haven's out. You're not gonna get, there's not enough money in there to buy someone to do this work.
Well, I'm concerned that our money between now and September is wasted, and we're not getting anything for that money. And I also kind of think that's an important piece of the puzzle to have this conversation. I mean, if my feelings are that if they provide that and we're paying for that service, that there's really no reason for us to appoint 15 people to be middlemen between the chamber and us, right? Now, if they're not going to appoint someone and we're not going to pay for it, then that's a different conversation, and we probably have to figure something out. But
I'm not sure we're going to know the answer to that. The answer what the chamber is going to do, or the four communities are going to do.
Hey, Craig, so I'm guessing we've entered into some kind of contract, correct? It's holding us till September, is that correct?
Right, it was a three-year contract city council approved 2 years ago.
Okay, so is the chamber still in compliance of their contract after they got rid of Ms. Butler?
They still have the capability to assist with any kind of economic development. The four communities didn't want to pull out of the contract. They wanted to honor the contract till through September.
So I think that's what Councilman Montgomery's getting at, is that we've entered into a contract that's good through September, and conditions have changed significantly, entered into that contract. And so I'm guessing what he's trying to ask, and what I'm asking more directly is if they're in breach of contract.
Let me review this with the chamber president.
Right now, we would be getting service through Lakeshore Advantage through the chamber. Is that right?
Lakeshore Advantage will really they take after the major employers, but the chamber will work with the smaller companies.
And that chamber person is now gone. So
Right.
you can look at that and let us know.
Yep, I will.
You want to discuss this at the next meeting, or do you want to have Craig just alert us here in the next few days after he talks, Jake? What would be your pleasure?
I don't want to be the person dictating discussion here. I'm happy to discuss it if it's relevant, or if it's more relevant next meeting, we can do it then.
Okay.
I don't know that my personal opinion is going to change this, but happy to have a robust discussion if next meeting there's more information available.
yeah, I would like to know about the breach of contract specifically and make sure our residents aren't paying for something that we're not getting.
Okay.
And then, yeah, personally, I would struggle to develop an economic corporation without knowing the answer of if we're going to have that service through the chamber or not.
Your Honor,
Yes.
everybody done? Craig, on this last two projects we've had, Brownfield was involved with that one on, by Leppings there, that, storage unit.
No, the Brownfield was involved with Stillwater Development next door.
That, that was the one here.
Right, they're not, Brownfield's not involved with Channel Side.
So I guess my question is, how much was involved was the chamber in the projects? We've had three relatively major projects, Stillwater, the condos and trailer place on the end of Carmen. Did that go through the chamber or was that, how was that? Did they assist us in that? I guess that was my question.
For the Channel Side, there was no outside involvement besides the city and the planning commission.
Okay, so what about the trailer, was it Ultimate Towing or Towing Solutions or whatever?
Towable Solutions.
Towable Solutions.
That came through.
The Stillwater, she assisted with the Brownfield development, as did the county.
So I guess,
But the trailer place came through the
Trailer place.
chamber. Yeah, Dan's over here.
Oh, yes, yep, yes, that's
That came
correct.
through the chamber, and so did the
Liquor license,
Pine Street liquor license, right?
yes.
so I've questioned, for years, I mean, like 8 years in a row, chamber came and made a presentation and said their big thing for Ferrisburg is they did a retention call at Leppings. Trust me, Leppings ain't going nowhere. Why are we paying the chamber to make a retention call? I don't know that they were involved in a couple of these projects. Perhaps, I don't know, unless they have someone they're gonna designate for economic development at the chamber specifically, which I understand they probably won't hire a full-time person if there's only 3 minor communities involved. But if find out if they're gonna designate someone to oversee that on a part-time basis or assign it to another staff member. Otherwise, I'm of the opinion there's no point in us being involved in it. As far as Economic Development Corporation, most of that work is done by the Brownfield. If I'm not opposed to it, I'm not really, one way or another. I mean, you guys decide you want to do it, that's fine. If you don't, I don't care. I don't see a whole lot of benefit. And per Regina's statement, then we would have to set up I would prefer a commission as opposed to a corporation. So then we could appoint people from perhaps out of the city that would be interested in providing their expertise. So, yeah, I'm up in the air on it one way or another.
Bill or Debbie, both of you have been quiet thus far.
I agree with what Mike's saying about, I don't know the worth of us proceeding with chamber. They're not providing us with what they were. When Elizabeth was involved, it was great. She was great. Now, I don't see the advantage.
Yeah, I've argued for years that we're paying dues to the chamber for what? Dinner? Basically. I mean, I don't know if they really did.
Years gone by, I was president of the newcomers Tri-City. At nothing.
Yeah.
And we dropped out finally.
I've questioned whether we should even be involved in the chamber for years. So, I understand there's benefits, but typically anything the chamber does is either Spring Lake Township or Grand Haven. We've been sucking and we got to be realistic. We don't have a lot of space for development anyway. So, would they give us one project every 10 years? You know, I guess I'm up in the air on that one.
But we did just move quickly on the liquor license, and that came through City Hall,
With the assistance of the chamber.
and the assistance of the chamber, is
What
that right?
about the most recent?
The most recent one,
Oh, yeah.
that most recent one,
Yep.
we were able to streamline it right through.
Right.
And if we have an EDC in the way, essentially that potentially could be in the way for something that quick.
Correct.
So my question to that is the person that expedited it leaving?
Yeah.
See, so if she's gone, for the person, I don't know. If
Well, nobody expedited this last one,
This
right?
happened in 10 days, basically.
Yeah.
Without chamber support.
Yeah.
Right? This last one, we didn't have the chamber involved.
Yeah, so I'll do whatever you guys decide, but, I'm not a big Chamber of Commerce fan.
Mr. Kate, you've been the only.
Craig, did I understand correctly, this printout from the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs was the basis for the assumption that our Economic Development Corporation is officially gone?
Yes.
I don't have a whole lot of faith in this document. I look at it and I find half a dozen businesses that no longer exist, but they're listed here.
Yep.
This paper means nothing to me. So
Search was for City of Ferrisburg.
I get it, but there's half a dozen businesses here that they say exist that don't, so how can I take their word that something that does exist doesn't?
I did the same search and I came up with the same list they came up with. I couldn't find anything for economic development for Ferrisburg.
So I thought we had a document that said we had an Economic Development Corporation that we had to dissolve.
We did, yep.
So where'd that go?
We dissolved it. We voted to dissolve it.
So we officially sent the state the notice that we dissolved it?
Yes.
My understanding was it had to come from either the Attorney General or the Governor's office to dissolve it.
We sent it to Laura here.
Yeah, Lara, I don't know.
Yeah.
I sent my license stuff to Lara and it takes them forever.
Mhm.
Yep. But anyway, I think we should have, maybe make a phone call and see if, my understanding when we approved the dissolution was it either the governor or the Attorney General had to sign off on it.
So I'll double check, but that's not my understanding.
I think what we should do on this, economic development is number one, get some answers from the chamber. And number two, if they're gonna dissolve it, we have until September to do something. So I would say let's table it until like, middle of August or something like that. That'll give Craig time to research for questions. And, I don't know if it's really a necessary thing.
I'd be also fine tabling it till then. I mean, we're existing as a city right now without an economic development task force or corporation. We're gonna be fine without it for the next few months. Let's make sure that we're doing our due diligence as a city before we act. Sounds like there's some.
Everybody happy with that?
Quick question now, has the Economic Development Board or Commission been dissolved at this point? They were appointed till July, I thought.
They voted to dissolve.
So they are dissolved.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then you're gonna be getting us some information from
Yes.
the chamber for the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Anything else for EDC? Right? Nope, okay. Very good. Time for public comments. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Report, city manager.
No report?
Okay. City council members, who would like to go first?
No report.
Okay.
No report.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I didn't know what this is. I just, and I'd like to know what we can do about this. I'd like to know when ethic complaints are filed and then our lawyer deems them wrong and not worth anything. Why do we have to pay the lawyer fees? The person that's filing complaints that are bad should be responsible. What can we do about that?
The city attorney suggested that there's two options, either void the ethic ordinance or put a clause in there if the claim comes back, not substantiated, that the person filing a complaint pays for the attorney fees.
That's a word. Pausing. Because this needs to stop. Ridiculous. And if they're not punished, they're going to just keep doing it. So it can't be allowed to continue. Why should we have to pay for these complaints?
If you want a clause in there, that's the consensus of city council, to put a clause in there, we can do that, amend the ordinance and bring it to city council. If you want to have a discussion on dissolving or voiding that ordinance, we can have it as a work session and talk about which way you want to go.
I'd be for that.
What's everybody think?
Certainly in favor of having work in regards to it.
Yeah, I think a work session would be good. I think there's opportunity for improvement for sure.
You have that, Craig?
Got it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's continue with your comment.
Well, I get upset when I get
I
these things
understand.
and I see this. It's an abuse. Why should the taxpayers pay for this? And they are. It's a weapon. And it's wrong. So that's that for that. Would you like my report?
Please. Now that you're all wound up, you
Ready to
betcha.
go. We had quite a meeting. We are now moving forward. We've planned our Easter egg hunt for April 12th at 11 o'clock at William Ferry Park. We're all excited about it. And then we also went into our 4th of July picnic, and we've already got things in motion. Craig's talked to the band, and the balloon guys are there, and we're looking for someone to be our master of ceremony.
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal. So we're working on that, but we're moving forward. Greg has flowers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So we're going good. End the report.
Plant them next week?
Yeah, right. I would like to.
I had some of the same stuff Deb did. So we had a rec commission meeting last week. Craig, can you fill us in on that?
Yeah, we had a rec commission meeting. We talked about the summer concert series. The commission's deciding what groups to schedule to perform during the summer. Be the third Wednesday of June, July, and August. They talked about maybe having an extra concert either May or September, but that hasn't been decided this time. That was a major thing. Then the community garden, we're looking at what we can do to make some improvements at the community garden. We got a lot of complaints late last fall of the deer getting in the garden, eating the harvest. So we're working on maybe raising the fence up and what else we can do to keep the deer out.
Thievery. What
Yes.
do you do about that?
What's that?
Ready to be picked and it's gone. That's terrible.
Other than that, we have a NORA meeting this Thursday. Several topics on the agenda, specifically the summer programs that NORA offers. We'll be discussing and planning for. It's always touches a lot of our communities, specifically Ferrisburg, and our fundraiser, annual fundraiser for this summer, which had a great turnout last year. So it's here.
Great. Okay.
No report.
Okay, very good. The only thing I have to mention is the Metropolitan Transportation Planning is Wednesday, and I'll be going to that in Muskegon. And other than that, I have no other report except for can't wait for spring.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
Second.
Pardon me?
Yeah, he's really speeding along.
Good, I'm trying.